property is used to get the rank of the array. Rank is the number of dimensions of an array. Array.Length to get the length of one-dimensional array. Array.GetLength 0. To get the length of first dimension of an array. Array.GetLength 1. To get the length of second dimension of an array. Single-line comments, multi-line comments, and XML documentation comments, summary for methods, etc. Check second image of ANS42. Mutable and immutable. Mutable and immutable are English words that mean can change and cannot change respectively. Strings are immutable, which means we are creating new memory every time, instead of working on existing memory. String builder is a mutable type, that means we are using the same memory location, and keep on appending / modifying the stuff to one instance. Stack always stores value data types. LIFO. Heap always stores reference data types. Helpful video https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=sign cloud vddsim. Consider a class person. In main code, as soon as we declare person obj name, then in stack obj name gets created with an undefined reference location in memory. But when we write new person, then in heap memory the object gets created with the internal variables and methods. Now we have obj name in stack with undefined reference, and in heap we have an object. So if we write obj name equals new person, then the undefined value in stack will change to the location of heap where the object was present. Image 1. As string is again a reference type, when we start adding values to variables in class, it will start storing reference to the values for parameter in the object in heap as shown in image 2. Stack works on last in first out, as it starts stacking new variables and object over the other. And as the method is done calling, it will remove the variables of that method, and will continue to stack other variables and object on stack.heap. Objects created in heap gets deallocated by garbage collector when it finds that the object is no longer referenced by anything that is itself not alive. The heap also stores static fields. Unlike objects allocated on the heap, which can be garbage collected, these live until the application domain is torn down. Fields, int, char, etc., declared in class get stored in heap even though they are value types. Pass by value and pass by reference. Passing a reference type argument by value copies the reference, but not the object. In the following example, foo sees the same string builder object that main instantia ted, but has an independent reference to it. In other words, SB and foo SB are SEPA rate variables that reference the same string builder object. Because foo SB is a copy of a reference, setting it to null doesn't make SB null. If, however, foo SB was declared and called with the ref modifier, SB would become null. Out parameter. Like a ref parameter, an out parameter is passed by reference. Discard is use of an underscore for out parameter, wherein you don't require that value. The compiler treats the underscore as a special symbol, called a discard. You can include multiple discards in a single call. Method, int y, out int x, out int m, out int underscore, out int z, out int underscore, public void method, int y, out int x, out int m, out int n, out int z, out int s. Out parameters need to be initialized before leaving the scope of method. If you want to use switch case on a type, but are uninterested in its value, you can use a discard. Underscore case datetime underscore, console.writeLine, it's a datetime. In parameter. An in parameter is similar to a ref parameter except that the argument's value cannot be modified by the method, doing so generates a compile time error. This modifier is most useful when passing a large value type to the method, because it allows the compiler to avoid the overhead of copying the argument prior to passing it in while still protecting the original value from modification. Overloading solely on the presence of in is permitted. Void foo, sumbig struct a, void foo, in sumbig struct a. To call the second overload, the caller must use the in modifier, sumbig struct x equals foo x, / calls the first overload foo in x, / calls the second overload when there's no ambiguity. Void bar, in sumbig struct a, use of the in modifier is optional for the caller. Bar, x, / OK, calls the in overload, bar, in x, //OK, calls the IN overload. Params. The params parameter modifier may be specified on the last parameter of a method so that the method accepts any number of arguments of a particular type. The parameter type must be declared as an array. For example, for adding grades of different classes where no of subjects may vary. Static void main, string, args. Int x equals 0. Int y equals 9. Int m equals 5. Int sum equals method 1, x, y, m, // we can add any number of same data type values. Console.read key. Static int method 1, params int, name of array. Int sum equals 0. Sum return sum. Optional parameter. The default value of an optional parameter must be specified by a constant expression or a parameter-less constructor of a value type. Optional parameters cannot be marked with ref or out.